Spring is officially here, and so is the pollen. That means sneezing, sniffling, and wheezing. But there are some things you can do to keep your home allergy-free. Joining us now is Scott Lewis from Trane Technologies. Thank you so much for joining us, Scott. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, let's talk about all things spring. What is the most effective way to keep those allergens like pollen from getting inside the home?
Well, you're correct. Spring is here, and it's a time of both renewal and growth, but also a time when we see increased allergies and other respiratory problems. At Trane, we recommend a solution similar to an air purification system or air filtration system, which can be used to improve the indoor air quality in your entire home. A number of people have adopted these portable air purifiers, which at times can really improve the air quality in certain parts of your room, in parts of your home. But at Trane, we recommend a whole home solution. That way, you can really control the air you breathe and make sure you're keeping your family safe.
Yeah.
Some other ways that we recommend homeowners reduce indoor air irritants are simple solutions like keeping your doors and windows closed, washing sheets regularly, or most importantly, scheduling regular maintenance with a Trane Comfort specialist or local HVAC dealer in your area.
Yeah, those are important and impactful tips. When it comes to improving that air quality within the home, what are some things that we really need to make sure that we're doing?
Well, you need to make sure you're changing your HVAC filters every 30 to 90 days. Also, regularly cleaning air vents and ducts in your home. And one tip that most people don't think of is using cooking vents while you're cooking in your kitchen to mitigate odors and vapors. Some other tips that we recommend are monitoring temperature and humidity with a smart thermostat. Uh, Buying indoor plants, they can help improve the air quality in your home. And once again, scheduling that appointment to perform an air quality test in your home with a trained comfort specialist or an HVAC professional.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that about the plants, because I have so many plants in my house and I love that that helps the air quality. But let's kind of go through those benefits of improved air quality. It seems elementary, but there are a lot of benefits.
There are. I mean, it's your overall health and well-being. There's nothing more important than the air you breathe in your home. And if you are constantly in an environment with poor indoor air quality, you can see such things as respiratory problems develop, constant headaches, or even increased allergy symptoms. And that's just on a normal day. When it's springtime and the pollen counts are rising, that's when we see these effects increase. And it's extra important to maintain strong indoor air quality in your home.
I love that. Thank you so much for these impactful tips. Happy spring, and everybody stay safe. Keep your air quality top notch. Thank you for joining us, Scott. For more tips like these, visit trane.com/residential. Thanks again, Scott.